Hey y'all, it's Sarah and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So the clouds are trying to play us today. Hopefully the lighting works. I've also got my sweet puppy over here. He is sleeping in his crate, but if he wakes up and starts throwing toys around, that's what that is. But I'm really excited to be filming another video today. It's been, once again, it's been a hot minute since I filmed. So today's video is going to be 22 books that I want to read in the year of 2022. I fully realize that we are a third of the way through February, so I'm a little late on this train, but I've got a bunch of books in front of me. I actually don't know how many I have. I probably should have counted, but I've got plenty right here beside me. I've got some things to tell you about them, and then once I get through those, I'll count them up, and then I'll tell you some more that I don't have with me yet that I will get from the library, and once we do all those, we will have 22 books for 2022. Hopefully. Alright, the first book that I have is right here, and this is A Court of Silver Flames. If you've been watching my channel or you follow me on Bookstagram, you know I'm obsessed with this book. This is Nesta and Cassian's story. I've read this once. I would like to reread it again. Probably after Crescent City 2 comes out, but I definitely want to reread this again. I'm working my way through the ACOTAR series. Again, I'm on A Court of Mist and Fury right now, but this one is high on the priority list. I also want to read this one. This is a running joke at this point. I finished Empire of Storms last September. And by last September, I mean not this past September, the one before that. So like 16 months ago, I finished Empire of Storms. I've read Tower of Dawn. Now I need to read this one. It's been forever. It's huge. I'm going to cry. I know this. But this is next up as well on this list for 2022. Alright, so the next up on my list is another fantasy. It is The Fellowship of the Ring. This feels so light compared to those other books I just picked up. Y'all know the drill with this one. It is the first in the Lord of the Rings. There are rings of power. Frodo gets one from Bilbo. He needs to take it into Mount Doom. Y'all know the drill. These are my favorite movies. I'm so excited to actually read these books. Berkeley, you will be very proud of me. Next up that I also want to read is Kingdom of Copper. This is another adult fantasy. The first one in this series I read 2 years ago. It was amazing. Loved it so much. I remember zero things. So I will be researching a little bit about this book before I read the next one. Alright, let's keep on the fantasy train. So next one, I'm actually currently reading. This is An Emperor in the Ashes. This is based on ancient Rome. It's really interesting so far seeing the characters both in the military academy and they're sort of like dealing with what their life is like, and also people who are in lower classes in this city. I'm only 100 pages in. I know this is a really popular series, but hopefully I can finish this one within the next few days because I've been reading it for like 2 weeks. I have Defy the Night, which is written by Bridget Kemmerer. She wrote Curse So Dark and Lonely. I will talk about that one here in a minute. I've heard this is super good. I love the cover. I have no idea what it's about. Alright, so speaking of fantasy, I've got this one right here. This is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. Like I said, the author of Defy the Night. This book is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I've heard mixed things on it. I've heard mixed things on the series, but I think it's really pretty. I'm interested in a retelling, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. I'll grab some buddy readers to help me out with it. Alright, I've also got King of Scars, which is this one right here. This one takes us on Nikolai's journey after Shadow and Bone. I'm really excited to sort of revisit some of our characters from Shadow and Bone, but also some of our characters from Six of Crows, mesh them together, see what we get. I've heard that this duology is heartbreaking. Crooked Kingdom was heartbreaking enough for me, but we'll see what I think of this one. Tori, keep an eye out for a review on this one right here. And I also have Hollowpox, which I'm really excited for. This is the third book in the Nevermore series. Y'all have heard me talk about this. It is a fantastical middle grade series. I am just flying through it. I love it so much. I've actually got this one coming in the mail to me today. Y'all know I don't buy books very often, but I love this series. I know I'm going to keep loving it. So I've got all these in paperback so far. Alright, next up on my list is a little different for me, and that is a historical fiction. This one is The Book of Lost Names. I'm trying to find a book to I'm trying to find a book to read with my mom, and this one is really popular. I've heard so many good things about it. I'm really excited to read it. I don't know anything about it. I know it's historical fiction. My mom is getting it from the library as well. I'm excited to just read and discuss it with her, so that I also have on my list. Next up is Firekeeper's Daughter. So Firekeeper's Daughter has been winning basically every single award. It is about a biracial, unenrolled tribe member, and she just doesn't seem to really fit in. I believe there's a murder mystery as well. She seems to use her knowledge of science and also traditional medicine to take her along understanding what is going in the story. I believe it's a mystery thriller. All right, so I think I'm on book number 12, and number 12 is going to be this one right here. This is Lock and Key, which is a graphic novel. My friend Berkeley is trying to get me into graphic novels. I always recommend them to kids at the library, and I pull them off the shelves all the time, and I'm like, oh, these look amazing. I know nothing. I know nothing about graphic novels, but this is highly recommended. I'm going to see if I can con her into reading this with me, but I think this will be the first graphic novel that I try. And then I have another one, and this just kind of goes for the whole world as well, but I really want to get into Star Wars. Like, I've seen all the movies. I haven't seen any of the like adjacent shows, and I haven't read any of the books either, but I want to try a graphic novel and see like if I like the world beyond just what's in the movies. So this one would be number 13. The next few I'm going to be pulling from my computer. Hopefully I can get some of these synopses right. But these are books that I don't have yet, ones that I will probably get from the library or see if I can find from a thrift store. And the first one on here is The Gracier. I've seen this recommended by so many of my friends on Bookstagram. I believe it is about a sort of dystopian setting where girls seemingly can like lure men when they turn 16. So in their 16th year, they are set off somewhere else to sort of release all of this magic so that they are not affecting men as much. I think it's an interesting concept. I love dystopian. It sounds a little creepy. It sounds a little like Handmaid's Tale. So we'll see what I think, but it's got a lot of great recommendations coming my way. So I'm excited to read that one this year as well. Alright, so the next one up is the first book in the series of The Wheel of Time. I've seen this adaptation on Amazon Prime. I really loved it. I'm looking forward to reading the books. The series is huge. Y'all know I love big series. Essentially, creatures called Trollocs invade this town called the Two Rivers. 5 individuals have to flee, and it turns out that one of them might be what they call the Dragon Reborn, who has the ability to either save the world or destroy the world. There's a lot of female magic. I'm really excited to sort of see what the books are about. I know they're a little old school, but yeah, I'm excited to read the books now that I kind of know the background from the adaptation. I think it'll be a little bit easier. The next one I want to read comes on high recommendation as well, and that is The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is another older series that I know is very highly recommended. It's about an outcast named Fitz. He works for the nobility to become a royal assassin. That's all I know. I know it's a very character-driven story, and I'm excited for it. All right, I think I'm on number 17. Number 17 is going to be The Way of Kings. I know nothing about this book. It's like 1,000 pages. I've tried to ask people who've read it what it's about, and they basically just say I can't explain it. So I'm intrigued by that. It's a giant fantasy. I've heard it's amazing. It has super high ratings on Goodreads. Apparently, it's like the modern epic. So I'm excited for The Way of Kings. I also am excited to read The Final Gambit, which is the 3rd book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. I've been lucky enough to get an ARC for the first ones, and I love this series. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but there's tons of riddles and twists and turns. I've described this book before as having a plot twist on every chapter. That is what I love in a book, and so it sets a high standard for me. But I'm really excited to read The Final Gambit. I'll be sad that the series is over, but happy to have all 3 of them. Next up is Legendborn, which is about a character named Bree who is at UNC Chapel Hill for a program, and she witnesses some things happening with magical societies. I believe it's considered to be a King Arthur retelling. This one has really high ratings and recommendations. It's been on my TBR since it came out, and I'm so excited to finally get to it and like be able to actually talk about this book with everyone else who's already read it. This is a fantasy inspired by the legend of the Chinese moon goddess, and it is going to take her daughter, and her daughter is going to try and free her mother, and she has to fight immortals. I'm excited. The cover is beautiful. If you've seen this book, I'll try and put it up here on the screen. Stunning, absolutely stunning. And excited to read it for book club because we're going to do a Zoom. So the 21st book that I want to read in 2022 is Demon in the Wood, which is going to be Leigh Bardugo's graphic novel, and it's a prequel to Shadow and Bone, and it's going to be an origin story for the Darkling. Listen, I know so many people who are obsessed with the Darkling. To me, he's just like toxic. He's poison. But I see, I think, why other people like him, but I'm so excited. I love origin stories, and hopefully by the time this comes out, I'll know a little bit more about graphic novels and be really excited to read that as well. And my last book on the list is Gallant, which is a V.E. Schwab book, and every time I see this cover, I'm like, yes. I don't love standalones typically, but V.E. Schwab is such a good writer. I loved her standalone in Addie LaRue, so I'm really, really excited for this one. It's about a girl named Olivia. She lives in a girls' school. All she really has from her past is a journal from her mother. She receives a letter to take her to Gallant, which is essentially this giant home, and when she gets there, no one is expecting her to have arrived. The house has secrets. It has properties that allow her to be transported, and it just sounds really magical and really cool. So I'm super excited to read that as well. So this is my list of 22 books that I want to get to in 2022. At the end of the year, I will definitely do a check-in, and I'll let you guys know which books I read and which ones I didn't. These are ones that I'm prioritizing. So my TBR isn't super long. If I look at all the books that I want to read, ones that I own and ones that I don't, it's under 100 books, which for some people is really small. And so these are the ones that I've picked and said, like, I really want to read these. These are my favorite. So yeah, I'll check in with you guys along the way. Follow me on Instagram at The Magical Reader. You'll see when I read these and review them. Of course, I'll do more in-depth reviews here on YouTube. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. If you haven't yet already, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Give this video a like, a thumbs up. You guys know the drill. Comment down below if you've read any of these books. Tell me which ones I should read first. Tell me if there's any that you're like, girl, don't read those. And I'm excited to hear what you guys say. So have a great day, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.